I'm super excited. I want to welcome everybody today. It is a terrific day to have a terrific Tuesday. And I want to thank you for joining me again. This is episode number 3 for my empowerment tea. I am your host, Charlene Harry, and I'm so excited because today I've got a special guest with us today, and I'm super excited to talk about the topic of today, which is settling on your career of choice. And so I want you to think about what it really means to be a career. I have a webinar that I'm thinking about bringing back to life on, the how to co-create with confidence, and it talks about being confident in your career. And the definition of career is it's a profession for which one trains and which is undertaken as a permanent calling. So, the question and the topic today is, are you settling in your career of choice? Let's hop on into it. Like I said, I'm excited because today we have a guest today. I'm going to bring her in just a minute. And if this is your first time tuning in, I just want to share with you that we are going to be sipping on some tea. Yes, I have my cup here, my empowerment tea cup, and I'm going to take a sip right quick because we're going to be tackling real challenges and co-creating the life that we deserve. So grab your favorite cup of tea, mine is peppermint and definitely my empowerment tea, and let's settle in and get ready to break free from settling in our career of choice. So today we're going to be diving into a topic that I think affects so many of us, whether we realize it or not. And it's the topic of settling. Specifically, we're talking about breaking the cycle of settling, both in our relationships and our career. Now, let's be honest. How many of you listening right now have ever stayed in a job or a relationship longer than you should have? You don't have to tell me. I want you to ask that question to yourself just because, when you did you just do it because it felt comfortable? Okay. I have to admit, that was me. Yes. I too was settling in a career. It's what prompted me to write, Stop Settling. You were designed for greatness. You see, you are not alone. And I think this topic is key. And so I want to share with you first some facts before I bring on my guests. And the facts are, let's just say, the Gallup survey says that 60% of employees feel disengaged at work. 60% of employees feel disengaged at work. That's work. But we're going to talk about work. We're going to talk about careers, and we're going to talk about relationships. And before we begin this conversation, I have to bring in my dear friend, my sister from another mother, Sudi Hoppy. So, Sudi, let's bring you on in. Do y'all see my sister girl? Can y'all see her?
Hello. Grand
Hello.
Rising.
It is a grand rising. And I want to thank you for taking time to be with us today on my episode of, the career. And are we settling in our career? So
I'm honored.
I share with the guests that 60% of people feel disengaged at work. Is
Mm.
that something that you have experienced yourself? Because I know that is what prompted me to write the book. So have you ever felt disengaged in any of your work experiences? Or before you do, can you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
As she sips on some empowerment tea. Y'all see that? Okay.
Okay, so just a little background on me. I am a cosmetologist. I specialize in doing women's hair and lashes. I also do a little bit of retirement planning as well on the side because, who doesn't need that? And of course, to answer your question, I have absolutely felt like at some point during my time, my career choices, that I have settled, which is why I'm where I'm at now, which is something that we are embarking on together because I didn't want to settle.
Amen to that. And what do you think the number is when it comes to relationships? What do you think the research says when people are settling in their relationship, not their career, but their relationships with others?
What do I think the number is?
Yeah, what you think the number is?
I don't even know, but I can tell you this just based off of the people I know. I would say 8 out of 10 people I know are settling.
Look
So
at
that's
you.
80%.
And you are so on the number. It's actually 75% of people say they are in
Wow.
unsatisfying relationships out of
Wow.
fear of change or just losing what feels familiar. So like
Correct.
it's a fear thing, you know. And these numbers are staggering in my opinion, and honestly heartbreaking. Why do we settle for less than we deserve, even when it's, I mean, quite honestly, sis, it's draining. It's
It
draining
is.
us mentally and
It
emotionally.
is.
Why do you think people settle?
And not just draining emotionally and mentally, but if you think about it, settling also causes stress because you're not happy, so you're putting more stress on yourself. So that also takes time off of your life, like years off of your life. Stress does that to you. So settling can actually kill you sooner. Not to be morbid, but I think the same thing that you just said. People settle because they are scared, for the fear of failure, by themselves, or because they are afraid to come out of something that they're comfortable with, right? Something that they know. Because one thing I think people think about is, sure, I may feel like I'm settling now, but I at least know issues of right here, right? If I leave this and get something else, who knows what issues that may bring. So as you get older in your age, I think people are settling for that reason. Now, if you're settling when you're in your early 20s, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay,
You
because
got
you got
time. Because you
you
got time.
time. I mean, you hit it right on the nose, sis, because you're actually moving backwards when you're settling. You're going back in time. And we're here not to go back to that infant stage, but to grow
Mm,
as a people or as an individual. And
mm,
because we're spending so much time on this, on the energy, I don't even think people realize, you know, we're lacking in the energy and time that we're putting in this, and you're just you're taking and eating away, in my opinion, on your potential, right?
yep, yep, I
So
agree.
the challenge is, um, when you settle, you're not only holding yourself back, but it also takes a toll, like you said, on your mental health. And staying in an unfulfilling job or toxic relationship can lead to what you said: stress and anxiety and burnout and even depression. Okay.
Yes.
Which is something that I think is so prevalent in these days and times. And the longer you stay, the more you feel stuck. Am I right?
Yes, yes. The more you feel stuck, the more it starts to affect your overall energy and attitude. The more people start seeing it on you themselves and start wondering, "Are you okay, girl? You good? You ain't been yourself lately." When your kids start asking you questions, I mean, it literally takes a toll, and it also snowballs into where it affects everybody around you, whether it's at work or at home. It doesn't matter.
And that's the thing that I really want people to think about when we're fulfilling our calling in life, right? It's for us to be the best version of ourselves.
Mm,
And how can you really be that
mm.
best version when you are stuck? I
Right, and you
mean,
only get one life to do it,
and
okay? You get
yeah,
one life to do it.
one life. And for me, it's really about starting to identify that you are settling. Okay, what's the first step? What are you
Right.
gonna do? What, so how did you identify? What was your first challenge that you know took on in order to not settle in your life or career?
Do you remember that statement when people used to say, if you do something you love every single day, it's not like going to work?
Yeah.
So when I realized I was not feeling that way when I was waking up in the morning, I felt like I was going to work. I wanted to then think about, what are some things that when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get to that. I needed that feeling. And although I didn't know what it was, I knew it wasn't what I was doing. So I needed to then figure something else out. Like, what do I want? And quite frankly, for me, it's not as easy as most people. I think most people, when they're young, grow up saying, I want to be this when I grow up. I want to do that when I grow up. It's never that person. I never thought to myself, I want to be a teacher or I want to be this. I never knew. I was all over the place and I'm still kind of like that as an adult. So it makes sense. But I know that even though it took me a very long time to find something that I was passionate about and that I could stick with and that didn't make me feel like I was going to work every morning. And I will say a while because I'm 40 and I found it when I was 40. I will say that it took me a very long time, but when I found it, I immediately knew. It gave me the reward of feeling like I was helping people. It gave me the reward of feeling like I was making someone else's life better. So that gave me purpose other than my own. That to me was what did it for me, right? When I realized I was in a position, in a place where what I'm doing now is positively changing lives. Oh, I can't settle now. Ain't no going back. Ain't no going back.
Listen, there's something about the power that comes from what you just said. It's like you are able to break that cycle of being stuck
Mm,
by recognizing your power. And like I share with people all the time, I got stuck in my career as an engineer because I was doing industrial engineering things. I thought this was perfect, but I was not fulfilled at all. And
mm,
I
mm,
realized that I was just going through the motions. And I went, it wasn't until I stepped out of my comfort zone of moving. Okay, like who wants to
mm,
move? Okay,
mm.
but I stepped out, and I tell you, it was the best decision I have made in a long time, in terms of just being able to break from that comfortable mode of being like, oh well, it's easy, everything is okay.
Right. And
Something
you
else
said
just
that word,
moving. Yeah.
fulfilled. People don't think about that word, fulfilled, right? You have a job, it pays good money, you go to work every single day, it's not a big deal, but you can't wait to get home. Like you can't wait to get off work.
Yeah.
That's what you should think about is what you're doing, does it offer fulfillment to you? Because
Yeah.
if it's not fulfilling you, right? It doesn't matter if the money is good, it doesn't matter if the hours are
Yeah.
okay. None of that matters if you are not being fulfilled. And I think we forget about that.
Yeah, because the more I settled, the more I lost touch with what really mattered to me. And
Mm,
it's very similar to you, right? It's my
yep.
creativity, it's my
Yes.
purpose, my drive to help others. It wasn't until I made that decision to step out on my own and start my own business that I realized how much power I had been giving away. And so I got an announcement,
Mm,
y'all. I
mm,
stepped out into business with this sister right here. See, I've known her for years, but we've always been looking for a way that we can work together and provide to the people. And I'm
mm,
telling you right now that we are touching on something that's going to break some cycles that are
mm.
happening in this
Yes.
country. And so I'm excited that she's on this show so that I can just share with you, what it is that you can do. And it's really about identifying, where you are. So one of the things or activities I want to share with you is a stop settling audit, right? Like, and let's just focus on the career, because in my book I talk about the other three areas. But what in your career are you settling on? And I want you to think about, write down what it is that you are thinking you are settling on your career, and ask yourself, are you truly satisfied?
Mm,
Because it's like my sister said, do you feel fulfilled in your
mm,
career? And I want you to know it doesn't have to be something like it's your one time thing, okay? Because I'm never going to stop being an engineer. But I tell you, when I wrote this book, Stop Settling, it was to tell me that that's not the only thing that I can do or contribute in the society. So, yes, I still have a 9 to 5 where I am an engineer. I still am an author. I still am a keynote speaker, and I still dabble in real estate. I'm there's so much there's so much out there for us to be able to embark on and to not
mm.
settle on. So I want you to think about, are you truly satisfied in your career? And don't box it into one title. Don't box it into
Agreed.
one title. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes.
identify the one small step. What I love about what my sister says is she thought about one thing that brought her joy. What brings you joy? And I can tell you, with this new business venture, what brings me joy is being able to allow people to see that they don't have to settle on their health care. Because I don't know about you, but I think this healthcare system is a piece of crap, and you
Mm, it's
don't realize
garbage.
it until you need it. And
Yep.
there's no need for you to go through that when you know in your mind there's something better. And that's
Right.
the point of stop settling. It's like, there's something better. So, what
Yes.
is that something better for you? And how can we help you in this podcast? Change
Mm.
that mindset to whenever you're feeling that fear of leaving your comfort zone, to go, no, what's the worst that could happen if I made this change? And then, like, I know my sister likes to think, would you like to share the other way to look at it?
What you mean?
If I say, what's the worst that can happen, there's another perspective we can have on that.
Oh, you mean like what's the best that can happen? Because
Yes.
that's how I look at it. I want to know what is the best that can happen though, because whatever that is, let's go towards that vision. And the best that can happen, I don't even want to give the nuggets away.
I
I don't
know
even want to give
it.
the nuggets away.
Because focusing on the possibilities of what's on the other side can push you
Yes.
into realizing the life that you know you deserve, or were designed for. I don't say deserve because it's like whatever. At the end of the day,
Right.
you were designed for greatness.
Correct.
When he
Yes.
first created you, it was good. Okay. And
Yes.
everything else just fell apart. But if we can remember, if we can sit and trust on the fact that
Mm.
he said you were good, if you can just trust in that and think about the good possibilities that could happen if you stop settling, then, my friends, that's the mindset shift I want you to take. That's the mindset shift.
Yes.
Did you want to share anything else? Because we're about to
Well
wrap this
said.
up.
No, no. I think what you put out there is great. I'm on the same page. I truly believe that everybody, included, or especially, I should say, women. I want to hold on to my women with this. I want them to understand that we have this special power that God only gave us. Women, and we need to utilize that. We need to be empowering each other, and we need to make sure that in everything we do, we're not settling as parents. Stand for what you believe in and stand on business when it comes to your kids. We're not settling for careers. Make the money just like the next man, but even better. We're not settling for entrepreneurship. And we are definitely not settling in relationships, right? Because, like I said, you get one one life, and you get to decide. That's what's crazy is people don't understand. You get to be the decision maker of what you want that to look like. What is your vision for your life? Don't settle, make it happen.
I love it. Before we wrap it up, she gave such wonderful tips. I am looking forward to being able to bring on my sister again and others who are going to roll with me on this empowerment tea and staying empowered on a daily basis. But before we wrap
You
up,
right, James. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me not let James. You right, James. Not just women. Everybody. Everybody is included in that umbrella, James. We just had somebody come in on the chat, and I just wanted to let them know they have been seen. And yes, we understand, James. We do mean everyone, just women especially.
James, I want to thank you for joining in. I love when people
No,
comment. And
that's all right.
if you're watching the replay, please chime in with your thoughts on what the challenges you are doing in order not to settle. I mean, the activities you do in order not to settle. But I want to leave you with one final thought, and that's this: settling might, and I say might, feel safe, but it is never satisfying. If you could just chew on that for a moment, it might feel safe, but it is never satisfying. If you
Mm,
want to thrive in your relationships, if you want to thrive in your career, if you want to thrive in your life, you have to make the decision to stop settling and to start
mhm,
taking action. And I'm telling you, it won't happen overnight, okay? This book did not happen overnight. Some people have been following me, y'all know it did not happen overnight, but each small
right.
step will build momentum. And if you're in a leadership position, or if you're in a leadership role or a small business owner, I want you to ask yourself this question: are your employees settling? Are they stuck in unfulfilling roles, or are they empowered to thrive? One of the best ways to support your employees is by providing access to comprehensive health care, especially mental health services, which is why I keynote on mental resilience. That's where my Premier Health Services comes in. My sister and I are disrupting the industry by offering affordable, quality health care. You hear me?
Mm,
That helps employees take care of themselves, reduce stress, and stay engaged in their work. So if you're looking for a way to reduce turnover in your work environment and
mm,
retain top talent and build mental resilience, I implore you to book a call with me. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever we need. And let's chat to see how we can support your employees in breaking the cycle and
yes.
of settling and starting to thrive. All
Yes.
right, y'all. That's all I have for today on Empowerment Tea. And I just want to thank you, Sudi, for joining us today, being my first guest on Empowerment Tea. Please follow us
Yes.
next week. We will continue to dive into the conversations and get deeper into the self care that we need to transform our life and keep the momentum going, not just for women, but for men too. But y'all know my heart is lying with the Black females across the nation. So until next time, I want you to remember that you deserve more. And the
Mm.
only way to get it is to stop settling. Let's keep sipping on some empowerment tea together and
Cheers.
thrive. All right, my friends, have a terrific Tuesday. It was wonderful to see you, and I'll see you next time.